Hi, so 8:30 sharp. আবার যেরকম বলেছিলাম, I'm absolutely on time. And today I really don't want to waste any further time because time is really precious for this person who will be my guest today. But before this, I would like to tell you, যেরকম normally বলে থাকি, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Talkathon with Shubhadeep. Subscribe, share, like, comment, whatever you want to do with that channel. Please do. Please follow me on Instagram because I really, really want to develop or my Instagram account because that's very important. আর আমার সাথে এখন যে আসছে সেই মানুষটা I don't think that she needs any introduction, any further introduction because she is a very unconventional, a superb actor, and she's really, really talented person as a whole. So now I would love to welcome Sayani Gupta. আমি এর বেশি আর কিচ্ছু বলছি না because you all know who Sayani is. So welcome to my show, Sayani.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Can you see me, hear me fine?
Yes, yes.
Hi, how are you? কেমন
Shiny,
আছো?
you're
Happy
looking as usual.
birthday!
খুব ভালো. Thank you so much, Shiny.
Thank
Thanks a
you.
lot.
You're also looking great in your lovely shirt.
Oh,
And I want to
oh,
wish a
good.
very
Thank
happy
you.
birthday and thank you for doing this with me on your birthday. And I'm sure তোমার বন্ধুরা এবং বাড়ির লোকজন চাইবে যদি মানে বার্থডেটা ওদের সাথে কাটাও কিন্তু thank you for doing this with
But
me.
still,
Very
I'm
sweet.
spending time with Shiny Gupta at 8:30 sharp, which is the prime time for a birthday celebration, Shiny. But ঠিক
I
আছে,
know. This
that's
is,
fine.
but we are doing this all for your, I mean, under your request. I want to do it before or whenever.
And I
You
know that. I
wanted
know. I
8:30
was
and I'm here.
really following up with you, Shiny, for the last 1.5 months, maybe, and you were so
Yeah.
tired up. Shiny, what is keeping you so busy nowadays? Why are you so busy?
I'm actually not so busy compared to how I used to be pre-pandemic. And this is me taking time out. This is a slower version of me. And I swear to God, I used to do, I used to do
I'll
a
come to your
lot.
faster version.
Yeah, actually, I I've always been a workaholic. Like I love working, I love doing stuff, and I thrive in chaos. I like multitasking, doing multiple things at the same time, multiple films at the same time, or shows or whatever. But what has happened now, honestly, Shubhadeep, যে এই প্যান্ডেমিকের সময়, because of the pandemic and the lockdown and the second wave, unfortunately, a lot of stuff hadn't started, right? And এখন একটুখানি lenient হওয়ার পরে, especially Maharashtra rules, shooting rules একটু খুলেছে, everything's opened up এবং তাই জন্য সবকিছু একসাথে শুরু হয়ে গেছে।
Mhm.
Um, Honestly, August is still better for me. From September, it's going to be crazy. I don't have a single day off in September. And I hope it stays like that, touch wood, because I need to finish work and we all need to finish shoots and, projects and stuff like that. So right now I have a release because so I'm starting promotions for that. So I'm shooting for that. I've started shooting for former shots. I'm doing lots of campaigns, endorsements, the Ogulo shoot show. So I've and dubbing. I'm finishing. I had to finish dubbing for Inside H3, a new Bengali film that I have done
Is it?
called Homecoming. Yeah. So that film, and I had to finish dubbing for another film. So yeah, it's everything's happening at the same time. Sorry to keep you waiting, but
No,
you are on priority, and I wanted to do this with you. Yeah,
I'm
I had
so
told
happy
my
about
I had told my team also. I was like, no, we have to do this, and I want to do this as you want to. So I've actually come on Facebook after I don't know how long,
I know. আমি দেখছিলাম। I think your last seen Facebook is sometimes in the year 2019 or 2020 এরকম একটা কিছু হবে
Yeah.
বোধহয়। না, no, I think একটা দুটো বোধহয় এই বছরও হয়েছে। So, but it's
So
okay. It's
I
okay to be back.
Yeah, and it's lovely to connect with people on Facebook because it's
Because
been
there
a
are a lot
while
of
because
people who are there in Facebook, maybe your audience, your fan
yeah, lots of my
followers.
friends,
Lots of
lots of my
people.
school people. So
Ah.
that's
So you have
lovely and all.
shared the link, so they are also there right now. I hope you have
I
shared
hope
the link.
if people are
Yeah.
interested. Yes, I have shared your link. And I had done actually last year after for COVID relief we had done a musical evening, actually a musical day. So I had sang, which was live on Facebook. So that was the last
Hmm.
thing I had done on Facebook, honestly, like live like this. So yeah, happy to be here.
Hmm. So I request people who are actually watching right now, please leave your comments so that we can share those comments with Shayani, and Shayani can answer your queries if you have anything in mind. Shayani, we just have to just move on. So move on. The next question is, of course, to you. You are a Bangali, absolute Bangali jake bole. You are from Kolkata and you have your schooling and colleging from Kolkata. You were absolutely a Bangali. But people are really getting confused now about this. Sayani Gupta ki Bangali? Firstly, Sayani Gupta, যেটা তুমি clarify করছো as Shayoni, Shyoni, right? So that's what I liked in your Facebook, আর সেটা তো খুব ভালো। আচ্ছা Shayoni, প্লিজ আমাদের একটুখানি বলো about your Bangla connect, about your Kolkata connect, about your new Bengali film which is actually coming, as you were saying that there's a new Bengali film which is about to release very soon. So why don't you talk about your Bangla connect? So that will give us a feeling the Chinese ours.
বাংলা কানেক্ট মানে আমি বাঙালি, আমি মানে পুরোপুরি বাঙালি। এটা আর বাংলা কানেক্ট কি বলবো, আমি তো পুরোই বাঙালি, কিন্তু
So
আর
no, no, tell
কলকাতায়
us
বড়
something about
হয়েছি।
your family a bit and all. How you
আহ
actually moved to Mumbai and the Delhi
নো,
part.
সো কলকাতায়, মানে আমি বড় হয়েছি কলকাতায়। 18 বছর আমি কলকাতা থেকেছি। স্কুলের পরে মানে আমার কি বলে ক্লাস 12-এর লিটারালি 1 সপ্তাহ পরে আমি দিল্লি চলে যাই, এবং আম, আমার সবসময় মনে হতো যে কলকাতায় somehow I don't belong there. I have nothing against. I love Kolkata. I have people I love in Kolkata. I love the food. But to work and be there, somehow I've always felt like I don't belong there. And but also because maybe, growing up, and my mother was very protective, so maybe I wanted to go away, and there's so many things, right, at play. And then I moved to Delhi and I took admission alone. আমি একা প্রথমবার আমি প্লেনে উঠেছি একা দিল্লি যাওয়ার জন্য। আমি admission একা একা নিয়েছি। I took admission in LSR. I got through Hindu and Miranda, and Stephens had given interview, I mean the interview, but it didn't happen. So আমার এক পিসি থাকেন দিল্লিতে, তো উনি এবং ওনার মেয়ে, আমার কাজিনসরা খুবই হেল্প করেছেন। আহ, তখন করেছিল, এবং নিজে নিজেই আমি গিয়ে অ্যাডমিশন করে পিজি ঠিক করে, তারপরে মা বাবা এসছে, তখন আমি দেখেছি দেখো এখানে আমি পড়বো আর এই পিজিতে আমি থাকবো, সো লাইক দ্যাট। সো আইভ ডান এভরিথিং ইন লাইফ pretty much after school all alone. And then right after college, I took up a job in Delhi in a publishing house for India infrastructure. I did that for almost 1.5 years, and then I went to FTII, also all by myself, alone, which was in Pune. And then I obviously moved to Bombay in 2011. So I have had a very interesting journey. I have had an incredibly interesting journey, actually. And I have done, what's interesting is I have not had a plan, and আমি কোনোদিন, I'm not someone who moves ahead with a plan, or plans a lot, and আমার এই করতে হবে. I've never been that kind of person. I've always been driven by what I desire to do. And I came from a place of, I want to work really hard. I've always had this fire in my belly. I've always had a very strong drive, and not just in terms of profession. Like আমার স্কুলে অনেক টিচার আমাকে অনেক সময় বলতো, আরে ওখানে তো সিনিয়র্সরা, সিনিয়র্স আর পুটিং টুগেদার পারফরমেন্স, and I would just go in and find my way and become part of that performance. And I remember আমার একজন স্কুলের টিচার তুলতুল ম্যাম, উনি আমাকে অ্যাকচুয়ালি ফেসবুকে আছেন, খুবই মানে সাপোর্টিভ, এবং ওই সময়টা আমাদের এক্সট্রা কারিকুলার অ্যাক্টিভিটিসে, she was always very supportive and part of what we were doing in school. And Tultul ma'am, I remember she told me, you always find your way in, like, and I would always, and in terms of performance, I would always find my tribe and, get into different performances. So I've always been like that. And I like exploring. I like really working hard on everything. So yeah, I think, if you keep looking, exploring, I think things come to you. And till now, that's been my journey. I've even till now, I don't have a plan. I've never had a plan. I've always been this happy-go-lucky kind of person, and And yeah, I've just been extremely, I am very grateful. I feel there is God or my father, whoever I think is looking down and looking over me. And I really believe that. And, there's some force that's protecting me and guiding me. And I'm very, very, very grateful for that.
I understand. So I knew what is most interesting about you that see, I've always found you to be a completely unconventional actor. So do you consider you to be quite unconventional in many ways, like the way you have started your journey, the journey which you are actually telling. So the journey which you're actually narrating to us is a bit unconventional because a Bangali may হঠাৎ করে দিল্লি চলে গেল and then you did it absolutely by yourself. So it's একটা unconventional, the stereotypical ব্যাপারটা থেকে you have come out, and I think
Hmm.
that what Sayani Gupta is all about to the audience as well. It's actually getting reflected on your works, Sayani. So that my question to you is: do you think that this unconventional thing is extremely in today's date, and you were just absolutely fitting into the place?
You know, I have never actually fit in. I have never fit in any gang, any clique. I've never had a gang of friends. I've always had individual friends, except for once, in class nine, I remember we used to have this little group, uh, group of girls, 6 people. But that was also very short-lived, and I was very happy. I was happy for the first time and probably the last time to be part of a clique. And and I've and I now I realize this, I've never tried to fit in, and I've also never fit in. It goes both ways. And সবসময় না আমি also I'm a single child, আমি একা বড় হয়েছি এবং আমি ছোটবেলা থেকে ক্রেশে থাকতাম এবং অনেকটা সময় অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমি একা একা বড় হয়েছি। তো I have always found things that have been very I've always found things that I have wanted to do or I took interest in, So boi পড়া থেকে, be it reading books of fiction or novels, or be it reading plays and different playwrights or poems or whatever, So I think my journey has always been like that. So I don't know what is conventional. I have never been, I don't think I've been exposed to anything conventional. I come from a family which is very unconventional. My mom and dad are very unconventional. They've had an unconventional, like growing up, I've only seen unconventional around me. My Dadu Dida, my Nana Nani used to live with us, and they were very unconventional. My Nani wasn't like the other most nannies that I have seen my friends have, I mean, of course, she cooked and stuff, and I was, I would visit her, but mostly she was interested in books, and she would only read, and write, and people would come to listen to her. She was a philosopher, and so it everything around me has been very unconventional. My father was very unconventional. My mother is very, very, actually very conventional, but the setup was very unconventional in which she was. So I don't know what conventional is. And I have always, in a way, yesterday only I was thinking like trendy bole, na? So people say,
Hmm.
oh, this is in trend, So yesterday I was shooting for something, and they were like, oh, trending reels. And I was like, what the hell is trend anyway, It's so boring. Like following trends is so boring. It's so uncreative. It's so uh, it's so
Correct.
sterile,
Correct.
it just makes me so. And I actually told him, I was like, I'm not gonna do this because you just want me to do a trending reel because it's so stupid. So anything that is trending, that is trendy, be
Hmm.
it fashion or be it it really bothers me. And I've never done. I do what I want to do, and I hope. But what is important in that also is to not lose your mind, and to be rooted, and have a sense of connect with what the reality, and so, and not be arrogant about it. But I guess that's why, obviously I hadn't set out to be unconventional. You can't do that. If you set out to do something, you won't be that, most likely. So I think people look at me and say, oh, you're unconventional, but I'm like, okay, cool, great.
So that's good. That's good. কিন্তু আমার যেটা প্রশ্ন ছিল যে, do you think, Shine, that unconventional is in? My question was like that in today's
Oh, it's
movies, in
unconventional.
today's films. Now, because yeah, we are coming out of those stereotypical. Today's our catchline is breaking the stereotype. So you are a person, I think, who is actually breaking the stereotype. If you are a face in a former shots, the one of the leading ladies, and if you were a face in maybe a margarita with a straw, the love partner of, or I know the love interest of the uh, main lead. So I would like to ask you one thing: this choice of your films is so unconventional. So are you actually getting into that unconventional genre, or that unconventional part, which is actually helping people like you who wants to work with unconventional stuff? That's what I'm trying to say. Are you understanding
You
me?
know, yeah, but the thing is that you choose a part because you find it attractive, that part. And
Mhm.
I choose the parts that I play based on my sensibilities, honestly. So if something talks more to me, like a script, মানে একটা যদি script বেশি interesting লাগে আর একটা scripted থেকে, তাহলে of course মানে that's how my sensibility is, and if that's
I
unconventional, maybe
agree.
it is. I don't know. But I didn't do Margarita because it was unconventional. I did Margarita because it was a brilliant script, and I worked really hard at the audition for a month, which went on for a month, and it was very hard. A lot of people, ton of people. I think every other actor in the country, in the subcontinent, from Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, from New York, people who were actually visually challenged had auditioned for my part. There were a lot of people who had also said no to the part, and I actually later thanked some of them, saying thank you for saying no, because that's why I could get the
Well,
part. And
that's not. I understand.
yeah, and that's why I feel that there's so much destiny, right? I mean, um, there is a lot that you have no control over, and but still you I worked hard. That's all I could do, at the audition. But beyond that, I was destined to do the film. It was destined to be my film. So yeah, so again, conventional. These are all things that people say in hindsight. You can't decide
Mm.
these things. You can't plan to be unconventional. I mean, that's like saying I plan to be cool. You don't plan on being cool. You're either cool or you're not.
The call you now.
Yeah, or you don't plan on being an artist. You can only be called an artist in hindsight, in posthumous. So yeah, I mean, sometimes a lot of people call themselves artists, and I find it hilarious because I don't think you can call yourself an artist. You can call yourself an actor. Only in hindsight, when people look at your work, your body of work, they might or might not call you an artist. So something like that.
What's your take about this OTT platform, which is so very in right now? And do you think this, with the change in the cinema, the dynamics of movie making in today's date, it is actually helping people like you, or the younger brigade, who wants to who wants to experiment with the new kind of movies? So, is it actually helping you people who are, again, breaking the stereotype?
I think the OTT is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. And of course, it's helped tremendously. People,
Mhm.
not only younger brigade, even older people, but actors, people with talent. In fact, last night I was talking about Pankaj Tripathi, and I always give his example. I read something recently that, it was, something that he had said. And it said that, how he's talking about himself, how I used to, um, look for work, and I couldn't really contribute financially to the family, and, how his wife was, taking care of the family.
His
And
wife is a Bengali, I believe.
yes, she is. Yes, she's lovely. And he was talking about how, he would literally be knocking in Aram Nagar, and in audition rooms, looking for work, and for so many years, and now he gets offered jobs in his parking lot. So, it felt so honest, and it really moved me, because we all go through different experiences, right? Good, bad, ugly. A lot of us feel like we don't get our worth, our talent's worth.
Okay.
And there are
Especially
millions in
especially
this.
in our type of films, especially
Exactly.
in Indian context. Yes,
In
yes.
Indian context, exactly. I'm only talking in the Indian context, and so much talent, but there's not enough work being produced, and there's not enough good work being produced that can showcase the talent that you have. And of course, I'm talking about actors, but also writers and technicians and directors. So I honestly feel that OTT has changed that. I'm not saying everything on OTT is amazing. It's not. Most things are not amazing. But having said that, it has suddenly given a platform to all kinds of talents and good, meritorious, talented people. Some, a platform to showcase, and their craft. And now people are talking more of stories, and everyone, even the audience, is no longer talking about just star-studded films. They're talking about good films, good stories. So content is suddenly at the forefront, and yeah, so definitely it's amazing. People are getting paid well to do the job well.
That's better.
So yeah, and men, women,
That's important. Yeah. Mm.
people of actually, even people from the marginalized sections, or even people from the LGBTQIA community, all kinds of people, are
Mhm.
not people who only look a certain way. They're people looking looking and coming from different parts of the country, are getting work and good work. And that's exactly what we need. We need a more inclusive industry. We need a more inclusive storytelling. So that's happening with OTT. That's why you have a film like Akhuni. I have said
Actually,
this
I was
so
just
many
coming.
times that why do we not have more actors from the Northeast? They're incredibly talented actors from the Northeast, but we don't see them. Why can't we see Northeastern actors in parts, that don't need a specific, like a part doesn't need to be only a Punjabi, or, somebody from UP, or a Maharashtrian. Why can't you have a doctor or a nurse, or a therapist, or a sportsman, or somebody from the Northeast, or a player, or whoever, or any professional in playing a part, or your villain or your comedian, for who's a Northeastern actor? Why don't you have it? There's no logic.
Right.
I've asked this to my uh, director friends who are big directors, and I've asked them, and they're like, you know what? We actually don't have any reason, and we will actually keep this in mind. And they said this, very very generous of them, gracious of them to say this, but they have. So we don't. There is no logic why we are not more inclusive, but we are just not. So
We're
these
just
are
not.
things that OTT can change and is changing, slowly.
I agree. I completely agree. Absolutely. Shiny, another thing, with as we're discussing about OTT and the language of film, but with the language of film, I would like to ask you one thing. Don't you think that the language, the dialects and the language, be it a verbal or be it a body language, in today's date they are playing extremely important, especially in your character, where you played that Adivasi girl in Article 15, and there was a typical dialect which you're using. I think the language which you're using. Was absolutely different, and I think you really worked hard upon. I don't know. So can you please let us know how you really practiced it? Do you think that that is very important? With your Margarita with the straw, you had a complete different body language altogether. So this, in today's date, my question is that in today's date with the new age movies, so dialects and language, be it a verbal or a body, whatever, is dominating the content as well. Are you really working on that? Which was not at all
Well,
important in yesteryears. I still
I
remember
think
no one was so bothered about the dialects of the character, and I really don't know. একটা সময়
I
তো
mean
ছিল
it
যখন
depends
লোকে
on
ইংরেজি বলতে মানে ইংরেজিটাকে ট্রান্সলেট করে দিত বাংলায় টু দ্যাট হাউ আর ইউ শায়নি, কেমন আছো শায়নি. So this was actually the concept at one point of time, but
you
nowadays
know
people are really speaking, the dialects are becoming so important.
I think the kind of films that we are watching has changed, and but I think there are all kinds of actors. I'm sure there are actors. There have been. actors who've worked on different languages and dialects and accents and the more serious kind of actors. You've seen Nasir working for so long for in different. You've seen Shivana Azmi or Smita Patil, or there's so many amazing actors who've done that.
But
You've
at that
seen
point of time, these films were not
Amrish Puri.
mainstream. But
Yeah,
at
of
one
course.
point,
That's what I'm
definitely.
saying. Of course. So obviously there was a difference between. But even now, there are a lot of films that you see which are more commercial films that nobody gives a shit about, body language, forget, leave alone accent and, I mean, accent and dialect तो मतलब बहुत आगे की बात है.
And
कोई,
actually, there
so
is such a stereotypical thought process. I think whenever we talk about a Bangali, we always talk about some Rasgulla and Ami Tomake Bhalobashi. And
correct,
when we talk
correct,
about a
exactly.
Punjabi, the guy has to dance
Bale
at least
bale,
one bhangra in the entire movie. So I think
yeah.
that concept is
Yeah,
absolutely,
or that, or
changing.
you call any South Indian Madrasi, which is like so uh I mean it's wrong. I can't even begin to say how wrong it is. But thing is, I think it's the approach that has changed, of course. The new breed of actors, and even now, even you see even stars like even Ranveer and these um the stars now are wanting to work really hard. Everyone is trying to be more authentic. People take the craft more seriously now. And I'm not saying earlier they wouldn't, but answering your question, maybe it wasn't as important as it has become now because the audience is also more aware. It's become more, I think, tactile, I mean, films
Hmm.
are no longer, you just forget about everything and there's a crazy amount of suspension of disbelief and you're just going into this dark room and watching this, film on the big screen
The
and forgetting.
larger than life image, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's changed. So now everyone's like, how is he talking? Yeah, he's not worked hard at all, and not just film people, but also like normal audiences, like our friends and family, and so like even my mother would say like, oh, it's such a bad job he's done, or like that. So I think that approach has changed, and of course, you're talking to me. I mean, I'm a trained actor. I mean, everyone who is around, I mean, my contemporaries, trained or not trained, they're all trying to do an authentic work. I mean, if I am playing a Dalit in a film like Article 15, why would I not work on my accent and my dialect? I would. Most of my friends would, I know that for a fact. Now, how successful you are in that attempt, it depends on the amount of hard work you put and also your talent. But, and you almost all, like in Akhuni, I worked very, very hard. It was actually one of the hardest things
It
I've
shows, it
done in my
shows.
life
Yeah.
because I wanted to get that accent right, and because I have too many friends. I mean, forget about what people who I don't know who will watch the film will say, but I have too many really close friends. Like some of my best friends are from the Northeast and different parts of the Northeast, right? They all speak in different dialects. And also, I know people who speak Nepali, but speak Nepali in different ways. People from Darjeeling speak Nepali in a different way. People from Sikkim speak Nepali in a different way. People from Nepal. In fact, right before Akhune, I had shot for entire film in Nepal. And in Nepal, people, the Nepalese is very different. So one had to work, and I worked very, 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 very hard. Okay, like I had sleepless nights. All I would do is keep saying my lines over and over and over and over again in my sleep almost. I would dream about those lines. And still, I mean, after the film came out, most people said, "Oh my God, you exactly sound like my sister, my friend, or you sound like me." But there were a bunch of people who said, "Oh, you don't sound like us at all, and nobody talks like this." And that's when I realized, you can't make everyone happy. Your
Correct.
job is to do the best of what you can and do it with the right intent. Do it because I know how hard and I couldn't have worked any harder in the
Mhm.
time I had. Of course, if I had more time, I would keep working on it for a year, but I didn't have that much time. And in the time I had, I worked really hard. But beyond that, you can't make everyone happy. There is one person saying, "Oh, you talk exactly like me," and another person saying, "Oh, you don't sound like me at all." Now, these both people are right in their own opinion and in their, they're both right. So one is
Correct.
very happy, one is not. And I'm like, dude, I tried, but I can't do more than this. So But of course, that the attitude overall, towards, I mean, I've done, honestly, I've done master classes and workshops. For Bumble, I did something which is a 1.5 hour or 2 hour long session for Mami Dialem for films. I've done a session which only talks about acting and body language and instinct and preparation and accents, dialects, all of that. But it's a longer conversation. It's a very different kind of
Correct.
conversation.
Very
Yeah.
true. Very true. I just would like to come to one of very important film, I think, which is very important in your career, completely from my perspective, is of course Margarita with the Straw. And I think that was an amazing film. What actually, what did you like in that movie when you chose that? So what was the one thing you still remember that which really attracted you to do that movie? Because why I tell you, because when I was watching the film and with your entry, the entire story absolutely moved to a different direction. Because we were not aware that Kalki, the main character, has some different sort of an inclination.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the sexual
She didn't
preference,
know.
and with,
Yeah.
she didn't know, and it absolutely, yes, it came in front of her, and he was so obsessed with her, and then the love making scene and the kissing scene and the switching scene, it was so beautifully shot, and it was so mind-blowing, Shiny, I must admit. How did you actually prepare for that? How did you actually prepare? And I was thinking that, is it really Shiny and Kolki doing this? And it was so good in that. And for an Indian heroine doing such a role, I think that was, it could have been, typecasted at that point of time. I don't know. So you have that fear.
No, I never thought about it also. I mean, I was actually amazed why people said no to that film because when I read the script, I got a narration and I was like, wow. And then I read the script and I was like, I can't believe someone's trying to make this film and someone's actually written it like this. And it was a brilliant script. The script is almost actually, the film is as good as the script, and mostly the script is amazing and the film, by the time it becomes a film, it's executed. Most of the films are not as good as the scripts, but
Mm.
in this case, the film was, both the film and the script were as good. And Shonali and Nilesh did a fabulous job
Yeah.
with it. But I didn't even think, I mean, first of all, how many times do you get the chance to play a blind character, someone who's visually challenged? So that was my main thing. And then was the, LGBTQIA representation, which at that time felt so, it was actually ahead of its time now that I think of it. And a lot of other people also tell me.
It was which year
But
release, if you don't mind? It was
it was 2014 and 13 we
pretty
shot for
long.
it. 14 it released, yeah. And but at the time I was like, wow, and it was so well written, and also I loved Ammu. I remember watching Ammu in college, actually in LSR when Shonali had came with the film, and I loved the film, and I remember being really moved by it. And she was also talking. I was a student in LSR then, and I
Mhm.
remember that very vividly. And so I had complete faith in her, and I knew exactly the fact that she would be amazing and she would probably be the only person who can in the country who can tell the story in the way that it needs to be told. Also, it was her cousin's, I mean, Malini's story. I mean, it was
Yeah.
inspired, Kalki's character was inspired
Yes.
by
Yes.
Malini. And so there was a lot of lived reality in it. Of course, it's a work of fiction, but and especially my track, all of that. But yeah, I mean, there was nothing. It was just amazing. I mean, what is there not to do, And I had worked. That's what I'm saying. That for a month, I was auditioning for it. Nasir had given me, and I've spoken about this in like some zillion interviews that
No, but
he had given
what?
me exercises to
Uh-huh.
do, and I was living with blindfold while I was auditioning for it. I started cooking with blindfold on. I would cross the road alone with blindfolds on. I was crazy.
Or
I would have
what
been
what
killed.
happens, Shiny, in today's in India? In India, what I see that people generally get typecasted. That you would be only getting offers of the lesbian characters and LGBTQ. And so, don't you think at that point of time in 2014, when you were more or less a newcomer and a new face, so you didn't ever thought of getting the typecasted or any of such fear?
You know, okay, I'll tell you something, okay? I'm very philosophical about life. That's how I am.
Mm.
And I feel that if you give something too much heed, it happens, you know. I like to be blissful and I like to think that, I don't want to think about the bad things that are going to happen, God forbid. And typecasting is one such thing I never thought about, honestly. In fact, I have been told, and I know that a lot of people said no to the part with this fear of being typecast. You know, they thought that they
Mm.
would be typecast if
Mhm.
they had done a part like this. But look at my body of work. I didn't get typecast. Of course, I did get a one role or two, which were, of being lesbians. But I was like, please, But I feel, ultimately it's your choice. And of course, I don't want to sound because a lot of my friends also have gotten typecast, and it's very painful because most people don't have imagination in our country in the industry. So it is painful. But I also feel that um, I mean, ultimately, it's your choice, right? You don't do the stuff, and if you don't do another part like that, then something else will come to you. And if you see, what happens is if you do up any part well, they will come with similar parts to you. So
Yeah.
after I did Margarita, they came to me with one or two lesbian parts. After I did or bold parts, many bold parts happen, and I asked them to please like show
So
them
what
over.
exactly is this
But
bold stuff? This
yeah,
concept,
it's
the
horrible.
definition of
It's
bold is
horrible.
something is
I hate
horrible.
it's my pet peeve. I hate the word bold. Anyway, so and then of course, after Article 15, I got offered Dalit parts or parts that were subjugated and girl who was struggling, those kind of things. So that happens. That definitely happens. But I think I've not been typecast so far, and I've always done everything that I've done has been completely different from the other one because and I'm grateful for it, again I'm grateful for it, but also I have
Mhm.
said no to most things that come my I mean I do say no to most things that come my way, so I've been also, yeah, I tried not to be typecast a little bit.
So you just don't want to see yourself in a typical Sati Savitri concept of a heroine in Indian film.
I love it. I absolutely, I mean, oh my God, I am all in for Sati
But if you ask me as a
Savitri.
director, I would think twice. Shiny in a Sati Savitri
Dude,
role
I'm an
and doing some.
actor. I mean, I don't know
So
what you
that is
mean
the
by Sati
problem. That is the
Savitri.
problem, Shiny, in today's date. I don't think people are absolutely becoming judgmental whenever they're seeing a star or
No,
an actor on the screen.
so
So
I
how
don't
are
know
you
what
actually
Sati
breaking
Savitri
that concept?
means. I'm not going to do anything misogynistic, and I'm not going to do stuff that's I'm not going to be, and I always say this, like I don't want to be a pretty flower pot in the frame. I want to do that's meaty,
Mhm.
that has a scope for performance, even if it's a small part. I've done many small parts that have been amazing because the parts had potential. The parts were written for performance. So
Mhm.
of course I will do that. I'm not going to, play, just a part who's just a pretty presence in the frame. That I'm not going to do. But I don't know what you mean by Sati Savitri. But I mean, if you're talking about like generally your commercial films where you romance and dance around trees, I'm more than happy to do that. I'm dying to do it, and I'm very good at
Is
romance.
it?
I'm very good at romance. I'm a trained dancer. I dance really well. So I
I
am,
think you're a Bharatanatyam dancer, right?
yeah,
You're
I mean,
trained
I've
in
done
Bharatanatyam.
Bharatanatyam, but I've also done contemporary and modern. And I've done a little bit of Chow and Kalaripatu. So yeah, so I'm trained and I'm dying to do a dance film and an action film, but also please call me for romance, for romantic films, please. I really want to do a normal film also.
Sayani, you have worked so closely with some good-looking hunks of Bollywood, like Milind Soman and you know former Shots Please, and Ayushmann Khurrana maybe, and Ranveer Kapoor in Jagga Jasoos, and Mr. Shahrukh Khan in Fan. So how do you see yourself in front of them when you met
What's
Shahrukh in the sets? When you met Shahrukh in the sets of Fan, or you met Ranveer. So I don't think you were at all skeptical because it is Sayani Ghosh at the end of the day. But again, what was your experience like working with Shahrukh or a Milind Soman? And that also in formal shots where you just have to have that chemistry, which is, we are looking forward for the next episode as well.
Well, with Shahrukh, it was very, I mean, it's a long story, but so I was very excited to. I mean, when I signed the film, when I got the film, I was really excited. Like, I had tears in my eyes for a moment. Like, not really, really tears, but like I was a little like, I'm going to meet Shah Rukh Khan. But apart from that, I'm not a starstruck person. If you
Oh,
hadn't guessed, I'm not really. I can hold my own in front of anyone, actually, for that matter. I've always been like that. So yeah, with Shahrukh, I was actually he's the only person who I thought I might be nervous in front of. But in fact, I mean, when I entered we were shooting in Yashraj, and it was my first day, and I thought, I went in and he was shooting for another scene with Valusha, and he was, I mean, I saw him from a distance, obviously. I saw him for the first time. But I expected someone. So then Manish Sharma, who's the director, he called me. He said, let's rehearse the next scene there. There's some light setup happening here. So we went to the next setup, which is, a different part in the same studio. And I expected Manish or someone to introduce us because all my scenes were with him and all his scenes of Aryan, the character Aryan was with me. So I expected someone to at least introduce us. But as I entered the room, Manish was like, lines pata hai? And Shahrukh, the lines, and we were like, yeah, okay. And he's like, okay, rehearsal and action. And we started doing our lines and we got into rehearsal immediately. And he was sitting on a couch. Valusha was behind him. He was sitting on a couch and I go in and there's a table in front and, we start doing our lines and like we actually know each other forever. And then after the whole rehearsal, we actually did not cut in the middle. We did the whole scene. And then Manish was like, okay, great. You all have your lines. Great. And I was sitting, and in the scene, he actually put me in his lap as part of the scene. He's like, oh, come here. I'm just pulling your leg like that. So, and it was very normal, and as Manish said, cut, I got up and sat on the table right in front of him. And I was just waiting, and he was talking to Manish, and he turned around and he said, oh, baby, I don't know your name now. So I said, Shayoni. He's like, oh, okay, Shayoni. So yeah, and he gave me a hug, and that was it. So it was very normal. And then I realized it's very normal. It felt so normal because he's very normal. He never, I think, wears his stardom on his sleeve. He's just the most normal person you will meet and incredibly humble. So, and of course, if he was somebody who's like, oh, and it's the people around, the peripheral people who make like a hawa of people. But with him, again, his staff is incredibly sweet and gentle. So, yeah, and we've had some amazing times together. So, and of course, I mean, Ranbir and all. I was very excited to meet Ranbir because I love him as an actor. And yeah, it was great. We hit it off immediately. In fact, I think we played cricket on the first day or something. And with Milind, of course, I've had a crush on Milind growing up, and he didn't know that. And the first thing he told me was something called conceited, I think. He's like, are you excited to work with me? And I looked at him and I was like, do you know your lines? So, but I'm quite a teacher on set. So I don't take all that seriously, no. But of course, I have actually romanced very, very good looking men. And I've been told by many women later that, oh, you've kissed all these, hot men, Siddharth Malhotra and like Milind Soman and Prateek Babbar. And I was like, yeah, now that you're telling me, I'm realizing that now. I never thought about it. But when you're working together, I mean, come on, yeah, it's just very,
it's
very
just a word.
sterile.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah. And I have a principle, and there's nothing, sets are like, or being on set, it's sacrosanct, it's like a religion. You will never mix work and pleasure together. So it's never, of course, some of
pleasure.
them become good.
I
Yeah.
like the
So
word
some of them,
pleasure.
yeah. So some of them become friends, and, I would consider, uh, Pratik a friend, even
So,
Milind
who are
to an
your
extent.
friends right now in the industry?
I don't really have many filmy friends, but I have lots of friends who are part of the industry. So, uh, but they're very normal. They're not filmy. So yeah, I've they become friends, and Kalki is still a very, very dear friend. Vinay Pathak is a very dear friend. Yeah, lots of people. I mean, it's weird to name friends, you know.
Um, uh, Shiny, my next question is, what's your take about Bangla OTT and Bangla films right now? Are you interested in are you interested in actually coming to Kolkata for any Bangla chobi or Bangla OTT? What the chow?
Of course. OTT, I haven't seen anything. I did get offered an interesting show, but last year,
Show in the sense reality.
it's no, an OTT show,
Oh,
a series.
the OTT show.
Uh,
Okay, okay.
Yeah, but I couldn't do it. Unfortunately, so I've been offered a few things on the OTT, like, but I've not done it yet. And films, of course, I have a film called Homecoming. It's not it's Bangla because it has lots of Bengali actors in it. The language is mostly Bangla, but it's also English and Hindi. It's a multilingual film. But we shot it in Calcutta, and it's called
Who's
Homecoming, and
directing
it's
it?
going to be out soon. Um, Shomojit Mojumdar is directing it. He's an actor and director. He's lovely, very sweet boy. Lots of my friends are in it. Hussein Dalal, Tushar Pandey, Shohom Mojumdar. Um, yeah, Tuhina is in it. Uh, Plabita is in it from Bombay. So yeah, it's a big cast. It's an ensemble, and and the music is fantastic. So we're very excited. So yeah, that's going to come out, and I'm more than interested to do Bangla films because in fact my dream was to work with Ritu Porno and Aparna
Do you
Sharma.
watch Bangla films? Ajkal ka dine?
A lot, a lot. Especially when my mom is here, watch a lot. I also watch Bangla serials sometimes with my mom. So yeah, I'm a full consumer of Bengali content, and I love watching Bangla films. I would love to, there are people who I wish to work with in the industry, Kaushik Ganguly being one, Onik Dotto, they're amazing filmmakers. But it's not happened yet, I think it will happen when it's meant to, if it's meant to. But unless it's a great script, I don't think it's worth, because the only thing is that, it's different. So when it's work in Calcutta, everything is different, right? You're going there, of course, for a period of time, but everything is different, So I would obviously, if I do it, it has to be something really special. But I'm really looking forward to, and I hope I some offers a good part. Sorry.
Are you a good PR person? So you are maintaining PR with the Kolkata industry as well as the Mumbai
No,
industry.
no, 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 no. I'm not a good PR person in life. Some people think from outside that I am, but I suck at PR. And I don't. I'm very bad with keeping in touch. I get very busy with my life, and people like generally who are my friends and my work and stuff. So not really. But that's what I'm saying. That I know some people, like Porom is a friend, for example, and I would love to collaborate. I really would love to collaborate, but for something that's right, not for the sake of,
Just
just making.
collaboration.
Yeah.
So you would like to stick to the acting only? Now you are actually planning to get out of acting and to the other fields of filmmaking, like maybe a script writing or in a direction or something like that, because you have the
Well,
formal
directing
training.
has always been it's always been something that I've always wanted to do. I've done it in a very, very small scale in FTII. Everyone who knows me, my friends, a lot of my co-actors, most of my co-actors tell me I should become a director. Everyone who knows me, starting from film school till now, everyone tells me you're made to be a director. So I think, but I'll have to see if I'm good or bad at it. Only when I direct my film. I'm trying to write it. It's a very grueling, strenuous process, but yeah, someday, hopefully. But
You
I
read a
also,
lot?
sorry,
You read a lot?
now I read more than I used to. I read most nights before.
going to sleep. But yeah, I enjoy that. So yeah.
Very nice. So we are just at the verge of closure. So we are actually come to the end of the discussion. So let me go through the comments. যেগুলো এসছে তার মধ্যে প্রবীর Chandra has written that your acting is powerful. One cannot put his eyes off the screen. So people are talking about it. Nupur
Thank
Basura is saying ki nice to see both of you. Prabir Chandra, Amit Kumar Datta, and Abhishek Ghosh is saying good to see Sayani. A very big fan of her, and there are a lot other comments. So,
thank you.
Shiny, so what's your goodbye message to your fans who are watching this, and what's your message to the young aspirants who are also trying to make it big, maybe on the OTT platform, maybe on a silver screen, whatever? Because you know the route, you know the journey, you have the journey, you know the path.
No, yeah, I don't think anyone knows the route or the journey. I don't think even if you asked a Priyanka Chopra, she would be able to say, I'm saying Priyanka Chopra because she's really made it all alone and done it. So I'm saying even at that stature, with someone at that level of making it big, you can't tell because there is no formula. There is no formula. Nobody knows. Only that's what I'm saying. I mean, you keep going, you keep going, you keep pushing it, you keep working and just grueling. It's a very 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 tough profession. Not to scare anyone, but it's tough because you face rejection every single day. If you're someone who has a brittle ego, or you've thin skin, it's difficult. So and no one knows. No one can tell you go this way and it will work. It can work
Mhm.
for you, but it might not work for anyone else. So it doesn't
There is
matter.
no formula. There is no
There
formula.
is no formula, and no one knows. No one knows except for the fact that patience, of course, is key. Don't give up.
Mhm.
If you have talent, it will someday maybe pay, but you would never know till it actually does. And that's what I'm saying, that you don't know. I mean, some days, I mean, from outside, someone who, I mean, people who know me for most of my life, or people from FTII or college, or my work colleagues or whatever, maybe they look at me and be like, "Oh, great, look where she's gone," and I get messages from people I know, but I have not even started. If you ask me, you know, uh, like you asked me now that you've become famous or something, before the interview, you asked me, and I was like, really, I don't. You said, now that you're a big name, I was like, I'm not a big name, like, it's, and I'm not being humble. I'm not, I'm not even doing most of the work, the kind of work I want to do, and
I understand.
uh, sometimes, once in 3 4 months, I'm like, what am I doing? What do I have to do to push this? To be able to do the kind of work I want to. And it's not
Bit
so much about
frustrating. That could be a
fame and
bit frustrating.
recognition. It's not about the external things. It's, for me, it's really about doing the kind of work, the kind of exploration I can do and I want to do as an actor, in terms of my craft, in terms of my skill sets. It's a very very internal journey, which can only happen if I work with the right kind of people, doing the right kind of films, and so yeah, there are ups and downs, and having said all of this, I guess you have to remain grateful, and I am. I'm truly, truly, truly grateful. Uh, when I look back to now, everything, every little part of the journey, I'm truly grateful for the ups and the downs. So yeah, and for people who aspire to become actors, first of all, don't be here because you want to get famous, or because you want following, or money, because those things happen. Those things are the
That follows.
byproduct.
That follows. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're good at what you do, those things will come. Yeah, I mean, it's, you can't be a good actor and doing amazing work and not have followers, and not become famous eventually and have money. Those things will follow, but the idea is to do it well, and be driven constantly and have that fire in your belly. Yeah, so pretty much that, honestly, and be grateful for the small things, and with the pandemic, we we got to take a moment and breathe.
And with
And
Corona in place, I think people have really learned what exactly how to be grateful
exactly,
in life. Yeah, I think
exactly, exactly,
COVID
and
has taught us a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and be grateful for the moments, you know. I mean, I love the little moments that you know, I spend around my mother, or you know, watching TV with her, you know, even if it's like the most insignificant thing, you know. I sit at the window and watch birds, and I love doing all of that because I'm not in a hurry, you know, anymore. And I think that's been my big realization.
That's really nice, Shani. That was really nice. Shani, it was so, 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 so nice talking to you
Thank you.
after waiting for 2 long months again. And
Two
because
months is nothing.
I was just following up with Shani, the you know the busiest actor right now,
No,
actor
no,
right
no,
now.
come on.
So,
God
so
forbid
that was really
you
nice.
have
It
to
was
get
so, so
husband.
nice. And so Shiny, hope we will be again meeting soon,
Thank you.
later, maybe at any point of time in
Thank
life.
you.
I'm also a bit philosophical because life is always a circle. So
Exactly. It's all a
starts,
circle.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a
And see,
circle.
you know, the good thing is that, you know, you had to wait and I had to wait to do this. And we've met on your birthday, and it's going to be a birthday that you might remember
Yeah.
for the
Uh,
next few years. And, you know, it was something nice. You know, it was something different that you did on your birthday. So
Something
it all
nice.
happens for the
কিছু তো ভালো হলো at the end of the
Ah.
day, right? And it was really lovely talking to you, Shiny, and all the very best. We are really looking forward for your formal shots, for your homecoming, for your Inside H3, and
Thank you.
whatever, whatever, whatever.
Kali
So,
Pili Tales next. It's going to come on Amazon
what?
Mini TV.
Which one?
It's called Kali Pili Tales. It's an anthology of six
Oh,
short films. So that's out next.
এটা কবে
So
আসছে? এটা কে Prime?
Kobe China, Amazon Mini TV there. Amazon has a new portal called Amazon Mini TV, and
Okay.
ওটার first thing. So yeah.
So
So
lot of interesting stuffs. We're really looking forward from a very
thank you,
talented actor like you, Shiny.
thank
So
you,
have a nice time,
thank
and
you.
we
You
wish you a
too,
great
and
future.
thank you so much. Good luck to you, and thank you everyone whoever has joined. I can't really see in this, but thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you. Lots of
Good
love
night,
to all of you.
Shiny.
Happy
Bye.
birthday again. Bye.
And thank you
Bye.
so much, Shiny. Bye.
Bye.